friend in real estate.
No one has a handbook for what we're living through today, which is why the experience you have access to makes all the difference in how you make it to tomorrow. For decades, Dakota Bank has worked with ag producers through industry, economic, and regional changes. We're committed to agriculture. We're committed to the producers and families that make our communities great. Go with commitment, experience, and integrity. Dakota Bank, banking, insurance, mortgage, and trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and trust not FDIC insured.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City. We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
Celtics and Warriors tip off Game 5 of the NBA Finals at 9 Eastern in San Francisco tonight. The series is tied up at 2 games apiece. Both teams relatively healthy. Same cannot be said for Commissioner Adam Silver, who was placed in health and safety protocols and won't attend tonight's Game 5. The Associated Press reports that Major League Baseball has upheld the one-game suspension of Yankees third baseman Josh Donaldson for his interactions with White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson, but reportedly Major League Baseball cut his fine in half to $5,000. The Nationals are placing pitcher Steven Strasburg on the injured list after he felt discomfort following his first start of the season last week. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson showed up at the team headquarters today for their mandatory minicamp. He'd been absent for all of the team's OTAs this offseason as he enters the final year of his rookie deal. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin not at the team's mandatory minicamp as he wants a new contract.
It's time for the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and local sports. Exclusively on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. And streaming online right now at foxsportsrapidcity.com. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories, welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host.
All right, good Monday afternoon to you. How are you? Thanks for being here. Hope you had a solid weekend, everybody. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Kicking off the week, the Nate Brown Show is back live from our downtown studio, Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side. Bring us up on Twitter at Nate Brown Show right now. Also at foxsportsrapidcity.com, the live stream there. South Dakota Sports Talk Show brought to you in part by our partners, Black Hills Urgent Care, the official urgent care of the Nate Brown Show. That's where me and my family go to get better, quicker. 2 locations in Rapid City, Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road on the west side, Bacon Park. Remember, start feeling under the weather, get into Black Hills Urgent Care. If you want to get right in, there's you can avoid the wait. Just schedule on your phone like we do, bhucare.com, the letter U, bhucare.com. You get right in, avoid the wait. Open 7 days a week, no appointments necessary. Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better. Kicking us off on a Monday again. Hope you had a solid weekend. I went and saw Top Gun Maverick. You know, all these reviews, everybody saying you got to go see it. I was the Top Gun guy. I love Top Gun, and we go to Top Gun Maverick. Solid. And I do have to tell you, even my expectations were high, you know, going in, because I'm hearing everybody. You guys texted in last week It's a 10 out of a 10, so all the expectations are high, and then you usually go in and it's a letdown. It's solid. It is just solid. You know, nostalgia brings back the memories. I don't feel I'm as old as I am. And Top Gun Maverick on your list. Make it on your list. Good stuff. A little anniversary dinner celebration as well. And I slipped in some sports. You know what I watched this weekend? Do you know what I watched this weekend? I will tell you as we get going. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start the show with that. First, let's look at the lineup. We've got Doug Samuels on. He's a high school football coach and national college football writer for footballscoop.com. I want to have an interesting discussion with Doug Samuels about recruiting today. This day and age, recruiting, what happens. He covers college football. He's a high school coach. He's a unique guest to have. I want to discuss recruiting today because it's that time of season. All the kids, all these high school football, basketball, all these players out on the circuit, right? They're out on the camps. They're doing everything. How much should parents be involved in the recruitment of their high school kid? How much should parents be involved? It's a question of the day. I'm gonna throw out that out pretty quick. We'll get to it. Scott Pianowski's on tonight. Major League Baseball writer, national writer for Yahoo Sports. We'll break down some MLB. Chris Denker covering the Warriors Celtics, NBA scout, Net Scouts basketball. Chris Denker live, Series 2-2, Game 5 tonight. Craig Maddox on the way from Sioux Falls, South Dakota Public Broadcasting, and covering the College World Series for the Associated Press in Nebraska, Eric Olson. Yes, a little College World Series for you on this Monday. Let's throw it out. 720-1067, the number. Get in on the show tonight. We'll get you in 720-1067. And the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. Direct text the show. You can be a part of it there. 720-1067, the number on the Barron's Wilson text line. So we are set. I gave you a little teaser there. So it's interesting to me that right now, this time of year, you got some things going here. It's Major League Baseball, and you're watching that. The NBA Finals, that's kind of number one. Stanley Cup Finals is going to be interesting. Starts Wednesday. The Avs against Tampa Bay. I mean, the Lightning have been unbelievable, right, over the years, just getting there all the time. So there's some big signature events. And then there's, you know, this weekend, there wasn't a lot popping. Stanley Cup was off, right, because the finals don't start till Wednesday. Yeah, the NBA Finals taking kind of the weekend off, and I'm looking at it going, what was the sport I watched? And I do believe this is interesting. I don't know the players. I don't know their stories. I know some of the programs that are pretty good, some of the programs that are on the periphery. So I watched the Super Regionals to get to the College World Series. I didn't watch every game, but if you saw any sports on, that was on a ton, right? ESPN2. So I'm doing some housework, as I'm obliged to do, okay? I'm doing some housework, and I'm watching the College World Series. And one thing that does jump out to me, I see it in a couple of games, okay? And I don't want to be the fun police here on a Monday. On the Nate Brown Show, I can't be the fun police. But it jumps out to me, and I just started looking into it. So the college baseball teams that I'm watching, they hit homers, and a lot of them have this orchestrated celebration. So a lot of, you know how it is. You've seen this, right? Maybe you didn't see it in the Super Regionals like me over the weekend, but you've seen the orchestrated celebrations, and they use props. One team has a sledgehammer. Teams bring out these props, and a guy hits a home run, rounds the bases, comes home, and they do the whole spiel, the whole deal. It's a circus, right? They got the sledgehammer, they're celebrating, jumping around. So I noticed this, and I said, well, this is just today's world in sports, is it not? We got NFL teams get an interception, the whole defensive unit runs down to the other side of the field, they get on the Jumbotron, they take pictures, and they do the happy dance and all of that stuff. Maybe it's just the world of sports, right? Well, here's what's happened now as we get set for the College World Series. Here's what's happened. And I have to ask you where you stand on it, of course, as I start the show. Are you on the fun police Or what do you think of this? The NCAA has announced, they've announced no more props at these games. No more prop celebrations, essentially. Like Virginia Tech had a nice season. Virginia Tech Hokies baseball had a nice season. They had the prop going, and it was banned. They had the prop celebration going. They used a sledgehammer, and it was banned. So the NCAA has decided the home run celebrations using the props, and they by the way cited a rule/bylaw. They were like, here, 5.466 rule says you can't bring this into a celebration. And basically what the NCAA is saying about this is what? Well, in baseball, there's some volatility, and the NCAA said, we don't want to add to the volatility. A guy jacks a homer. You know what the baseball guys do. They don't like the flipping of the bats. They don't like the staring it down. They don't like much celebration, and now we've added prop celebrations into it, bringing items to the park and bringing them out of the dugout, and the whole team comes out, and they do the whole thing. So the NCAA says, we're going to nix it. We're going to hit it right here as we get set for the College World Series. No more of these orchestrated prop celebrations in college baseball. So let me ask you, I'll tell you where I'm at on the fun police, okay? This is not just in college baseball, but this is the first time I've really started seeing that crank up. I guess last year, I just got this message. Last year, Mount Marty baseball over there in Yankton, Mount Marty, they had a major celebration every time a guy would round the bases after a home run, and they would do the sledgehammer, swinging it around and jumping around. Even Mount Marty joined the fun. The NCAA today, after the Super Regionals and all this, teams qualifying for the World Series in Omaha, they say no more of the prop celebrations. So you tell me on a Monday, how are you feeling today? Let's just see. NCAA. It's easy to pick on the NCAA. I do it a lot. NCAA says no more prop use for college baseball celebrations as we get set for the College World Series. Is that the right call? Is that the right call? 720-1067 is our number if you want in on the Barron's Wilson text line. Text your answer. I want to see which side of this is, or should the public be on. The NCAA is going to take some heat because what? They are the anti-fun. The NCAA is always usually anti-fun. In this case, I wonder what the audience says. NCAA says no more prop use for college baseball celebrations. And if you've seen this at all, as you watch these games, the guys are having fun. But I will say this. I've got two things on it. And then I'll tally some votes here. 720-1067. You don't mind the celebration with the various props? You've seen this in college football. They have the turnover chains. UNLV actually put like a slot machine on the sideline, like a giant slot machine. It's the college football atmosphere's gone down this road as well. But I will tell you this, to me, baseball has treated itself different when it comes to showing up players. You've heard this term and you've seen it. The baseball crowd and the baseball teams and players, the code of conduct is different in baseball. Say what you want about it, but the code of conduct in baseball, they essentially hold themselves to a little bit of a different standard, meaning if you celebrate or if you show up somebody and you stare at your home run, you're going to catch one in the armpit next time up. It's self-policing. A lot of the other sports don't have that. The NCAA says this whole celebration and rubbing it in somebody's face and doing the whole deal, that's over because it's adding to a volatile situation and they don't want it to get out of control. I ask you your thoughts as you get in live today. You're live on Fox Sports Rapid City, and you go ahead.
It's way over.
It's way over top?
The celebration.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how you could ban it right in the middle of, especially a postseason, after you let it go for so long.
That's a good point, Steve. That's a good point. It's like, hey,
I
this is
mean-
kind of getting out of control. By the way, I don't like it. Yeah, I know
I
people
don't
say
either.
I'm old, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
You know, Nate, this is true. My oldest brother, who graduated the same year as Bob Gibson, my brother is a sophomore, hit a home run at Brown Park off of Bob Gibson. He looked at Bob all the way around the bases. For the next 2 years, every time my brother came up to bat, Bob Gibson threw a hard pitch right at his head every time. You know,
Well, that's baseball. That's old school
that's
baseball.
baseball. That's what I'm saying. If these kids would, can you imagine doing that to Nolan Ryan? Who is that White Sox kid or the Cubbies?
Robin Ventura, White Sox player. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just got spanked by Dad on national TV.
So
I mean, I don't mind you looking at the home run or,
okay, I would
do.
agree with you on that. I think we get a little touchy sometimes. Like we can't do anything in baseball these days. We can't do anything sometimes.
I ump a lot of this intermediate baseball, Rapid City Youth Baseball. It's good stuff, Nate. You got to come watch it. But the kids get excited on a home run. They all go to home plate. I'm cool with that. But, sometimes the chance when the kids are up, and this goes to Legion, this goes to college, this goes to what you've been talking about last week. It's getting out of hand.
Okay, I was wondering where you'd be. I don't love it. It sounds like I'm the anti-fun police, but I don't like having it.
That's all right. Just carry a gun like I do. Nobody will say nothing.
Okay, well, heads up. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. Let me see what you think on this. Let's see what the votes are. I have a feeling a lot of folks are going to say it's kids having fun. Sports are fun. Sports are fun. Where does the fun cross into over the top? Where does the fun cross into over the top? And the NCAA says they're seeing this going on at the super regionals. It's like we got to put an end to this here. We got to step in because there is a bylaw / rule that you can't do the prop celebration stuff. And all these teams have been doing it. And I look at it, I say, I'm with the NCAA here. I'm with the NCAA. I think you can celebrate without having to do the sledgehammer, happy dance, whatever. Okay? I don't think we need a 4-alarm fire emergency here every time somebody needs or hits a home run. Guys can do a classic celebration. I think it's okay, and I think the NCAA is right. They're not right very often. I've duly noted here on the program. I think the NCAA is right to say, let's just try and nip this out. Let's just try and nip this out. Like Virginia Tech, as they got to their super regional, they were like really mad about it. The Virginia Tech players, that was an example. I was reading through a piece today as I was watching some of these celebrations. Virginia Tech, they went 40-11, had a great regular season, got to the super regional. The NCAA says, hey, you can't do the prop celebration on your home runs. And a couple of their players just went off the charts. They're just so mad. Well, the NCAA is telling us we can't do this. I think there does come a time where I think it's okay to play baseball, take it serious, and then when you have a home run, you can celebrate within reason. We don't need an orchestrated. And I've been consistent on this. Do I like the NFL secondaries getting an interception and then the whole defensive unit has to run 90 yards down the field to take a picture? I don't need it. I don't need it. Yet, I have been told that's just the fun part of sports. Let's see. Let's open this up. 720-1067. 720-1067. Listener text, I'm a big fan of the bat flips. See, I'm going to be here with you on this. I'm going to be with you. I'm with the NCAA orchestrated celebrations with props. Not going to do it. College World Series, it's done. It's done. I'm with them on it. It's fine because the guys in baseball get sensitive. The pitchers in baseball get sensitive. Now you're going to have high cheese, and now you're going to have a problem on your hands. And then what do? We blame the umpires, and they got to kick this guy out, and warnings over here and warnings over there. The bat flips and stuff, I think we get a little touchy on some of that. Oh, he looked at the home run too long. He flipped his bat too high. I think we get a little touchy. Can we not follow the rules to take a celebration from okay to over the top? I'm with the NCAA. It doesn't happen about 1 out of 10 times, but today I'm there. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, this is Brian again. I just want to say, these guys got to get clicks, man. You got to get clicks. That's how you make your living.
Oh,
that's all I need to say.
By doing the celebrations, all that?
Yeah. Get a click on your Instagram. That's how you get a click, man. Every time you get a click, you get $1.
You might be right. I don't know. You might be right. The crazier we get, the funnier we are, then we go viral, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's interesting, Brian.
And that's what NIL is,
Yeah, well, driving your brand, yeah, it really is. It really is. That's interesting.
Yep.
They put on a show. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. I didn't think about that. Like, hey, let's, but no, I think he's right. Like, for example, Virginia Tech, they started this tradition, these big celebrations with the sledgehammer, and every guy that hits a home run, they bring it out and they slam it on the field and the whole thing. And you wonder if that's part of, well, of course, we'll put this on Twitter and we'll do the whole thing and we go viral and everybody thinks we're cool and that whole thing. That might be part of it. That might be part of it. Now the NCAA steps in and actually people are upset, like Virginia Tech's upset. We can't do the prop celebration. Let's see here. This is interesting. I didn't know this. Listener text, Post 22 has a cow heart in a jar that they break out. I've missed that one. Now I got to be taking a look there. I'll bring my binoculars into the game there next time. What's the deal with that? Is that a South Dakota thing? That sounds like that doesn't sound like a celebration. That sounds like a ritual. Rapid City, South Dakota baseball team with a cow heart. I did not know that. Let's update it here. 720-1067. Question of the day for you to sound off on. NCAA stops the college baseball teams from doing the big celebration with props. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can find the celebrations. Every team going along the way and doing whatever they do. NCAA says no more. Do you like that call from the NCAA? Hey, here it is. 41% of you today so far say, good call by the NCAA. Celebrations are over the top. 59% of you say, no way, just let them celebrate. See, I think, that's what I thought. I thought the public most of the time doesn't want to see as, well, a lot of the folks don't want to be seen as anti-fun. It's kind of like what I saw coming into the show today. I saw this debate out there. I read through sports media stuff, and I saw this debate, and it was interesting. They said sports radio shows, some of them do serious topics, and then some of them just goof around all day. And it said, which sports radio show do you do? So this is insider trading here. I'm giving you a picture of the inside. And I thought about that today. This is kind of that. On this show, we kind of tend to do thought-provoking sports talk. What did you think about this? What about that? Gets to the line of seriousness, never goes so serious that we don't have a good time for the most part. Yet we don't sit here and goof around for 2 hours and I tell you this, that, and I don't have anything planned. So I'm going to tell you, There's the folks that say, it's fine. You can celebrate, do whatever. Nothing's off limits. And I'm not there. It's the same correlation there. It's like, I'm not going to do a 2-hour radio show that I don't have anything prepared, no guests, and we just talk about whatever. And I'll tell you what I think about Phil Mickelson and whoever. Can't do it. Let's have some professionalism in sports. I think they can, even though the celebration's okay. I think you can still have some professionalism and respect for the game. See, Curt Schilling just came out, whether you like Curt or not. Curt Schilling just came out and said, you know who this is on? The NCAA stepped in and said we can't do it. And he said, when did the baseball managers of these college programs ever start letting these guys do this? That's what Curt Schilling said. If a baseball manager back in my day, when we brought out a prop and we did this, the manager would be, oh, are you kidding me? And so Curt's coming from the old school side of it, right? He's coming from the old school side of it, big time. He's saying the manager should have never let this stuff happen, and now the NCAA has to step in, and then everyone gets mad at the NCAA. It's an easy target, believe me. But 59% of you say, let them celebrate. And I think most people just say, yeah, it's sports. But I'm big on respect, sportsmanship, professionalism. And I think that goofy stuff and the slot machine and the turnover chain and all that stuff, the look at me stuff, I don't need it. I don't want it. Doug Samuels is in next, high school football coach and college football writer for footballscoop.com. Here's a question I have. How much should parents be involved in the recruitment? Maybe you have a good athlete, son or daughter, and they might be a college athlete. How much should parents be involved in the recruiting process? Interesting discussion coming up.
You're listening to the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills, The Nate Brown Show on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
We all have hard days at work. This is what champion bullfighter Dusty Tuckness does for a living. Now this is a tough day at work. When Dusty comes home, he likes things quiet. Windows and patio doors from Renewal by Andersen not only make things quiet, they cut your energy bills and add to the value of your home. No matter what you do for a living, Renewal by Andersen windows and patio doors, because coming home should always feel this good.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a chance for scattered storms. Lows around 55, north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, 71, partly cloudy skies. Lows around 50, tomorrow night, mainly clear. Mid-70s, Wednesday, much warmer on Thursday, with highs in the low 80s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 78.
Denny Menholt dealers are serving up a grillin', chillin', and thrillin' summer. Register to win a side-by-side at any Menholt dealership. Other prizes like a Traeger smoker from Black Hills Fireplace, grill and fire pit, golf at Red Rocks, Dakota Butcher, Sicky's Garage, Plant Smith, and more. While you're in, check out what's hot on the lot. With trade-in values at an all-time high, there's never been a better time to buy. Your grillin', chillin', and thrillin' summer starts at Denny Menholt dealerships, Rapid City, and menholtsummer.com.
Black Hills Community Bank is your local bank that's deeply committed to this community. And right now, the annual diaper drive is back, where they're working to collect over 50,000 diapers this year for the Cornerstone Women and Children's Home in Rapid City and the Bella Pregnancy Resource Center in Spearfish. With a silent auction and other events in June, Black Hills Community Bank appreciates your help in making a difference. Black Hills Community Bank, investing in what counts. For more info on the diaper drive, just stop by or visit bhcbank.com/diaper drive.
From the minute you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, Black Hills Energy is here to support, inspire, and drive your next adventure. Because supporting your day-to-day is our everyday. And we are always here, ready for your next step. Black Hills Energy. Ready.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Maggie Taylor, Hill City High School.
We can't thank Rihanna at Elevate Performance enough. After my surgery, we started an intense rehab program. Since my recovery, we have met with Rihanna on occasion to help strengthen my body so an injury doesn't happen again. I feel like I couldn't be where I am at today as an athlete without the help of Rihanna at Elevate Performance.
Get your athlete started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in. Just getting started on a Monday. Your Sports, Your Show, the Nate Brown Show. Biggest national names here on the program. We try and track them down. The local sports newsmakers all on Fox Sports Rapid City. Kicking off the week with Doug Samuels. I wanted to talk to him because he's got an interesting perspective. He writes for FootballScoop.com, covers college football. FootballScoop.com. He's also a high school varsity head football coach. And I've been discussing this the past week here, and I threw out a question of the day and said, how much should parents be involved in the recruiting process today with the social media, the camps, the whole big picture of getting recruited? I wanted to get into that more with Doug Samuels. He's live on the Nate Brown Show, footballscoop.com. Find him on Twitter at Coach Sams. Doug, good to have you. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate your time. First things first, I just threw out this question of the day, and you're a high school coach, so, there's these celebrations going on. The NCAA announced we can't have any more prop celebrations in the College World Series on the baseball side. This stuff started happening in football. Does the Doug Samuels football team have a turnover chain that you guys throw around?
We absolutely do. We've had one of my last two high school stops. We had the turnover. We have the turnover chain now. I can't remember what it was. It was a bone. We were the
a bone.
So
it
was a giant bone.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's. I mean, if it's something the kids love and the kids rally behind, I could honestly care less what people in the stands think. If it gets our kids fired up, and that's what I'm here for.
Okay, that's interesting. I wanted the coach perspective because I said I'm with the NCAA. I said I'm fine with it, the props, the sledgehammers, the stuff. They said in baseball it's going to raise the volatility and, guys end up maybe throwing at somebody. Is football different? You said, hey, the players get juiced about it. That's why we have it.
Yeah, I think football is behind in a lot of aspects, but I think this is one area where they're, a little more on the cutting edge. You look at baseball. I think there's still a lot of old traditions that people are holding on to, and that's a great way to kind of justify keeping things the same as some of those reasons you just laid out. But I don't really buy into that. Every sport evolves, and when you don't evolve, you start to die. And I think you can see a little bit of that happening to maybe a lesser degree with golf. You've got to be able to evolve, or you're going to get left behind, and people are going to go somewhere else.
All right, let's get into a discussion I wanted to have with you. You're a high school football coach, and you cover college football for FootballScoop.com. So you got an interesting perspective here. Let me start with this. On the recruiting side, now's the time. If these guys and gals are out there, they're going to camps. They're going to be seen, and they're trying to be seen. So there's multi-layers, Doug, of getting recruited. It's we got to be seen. We got to have a social media presence, right? And then how do we put that all together?
Yeah, I think it really starts with going to camps and going to the right camps, the camps that are being hosted on college campuses by colleges, other colleges in the area are going to evaluate kids and coach kids. I think that's really where it starts. There's a lot of camps out there that, are ran by third parties that, in my opinion, are kind of a money grab. They're not, okay. They don't have the best interest of the athlete in mind. It's their way to kind of earn money, and some of those are probably great. I think the vast majority of them are skeptical at best. So that's what I always tell our kids is, before you go to a camp, number one, make sure it's on a college campus run by a college. If you have any doubts, just ask me or one of my assistants. We'll kind of help you through that process. So that's really where it starts. But absolutely, social media is where things have kind of gone the past 10 years. Coaches are going to dig into social media of the player, and if they go into that next layer, that they'll definitely start to get into the parent social media too. That's pretty simple to look up.
Okay, so as a high school coach, how involved are you for players that want to play at the next level, and how key is it are high school coaches for players?
I think it varies a lot among high school coaches. I think some of the older guys really feel that that their job is to develop you and, maybe to a lesser degree win football games, but their job is not to get you recruited to play at the next level. I think we have an interesting perspective on my staff. I've got some former college coaches on my staff. I was a former college coach. I worked on the recruiting side of things as well after I got done at the college level for a few years. And so we've got a unique perspective that I want to help our guys out in whatever way we can. And I think I like to believe I'm maybe one of the more well-connected high school head coaches just because of my job with Football Scoop, with college coaches coming to the site every day to check it out. So I want to be a resource for them. So I put a lot of that on our shoulders. I actually gave one of my coaches the recruiting coordinator title, which you really only see at the college level.
Okay, you got a high school coach that does that?
I do. Yep, a guy on my staff that was at the college level for a few years, and it's something he's passionate about. So I want to be able to empower him, and that's how we do it on our staff.
Doug Samuels, college football writer, footballscoop.com, and high school football coach. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. Find him on Twitter at Coach Sams. I asked a question of the day in my audience on social media because what I'm seeing right now, and I just talked to a couple of parents, and we were just talking about various things in sports. They are really involved in trying to get their sons recruited. I mean, really, really involved. So I asked this: how much should parents be involved in the recruiting and promotion of their player?
I know from a college coaching perspective, that's a red flag for a lot of guys when they're the ones leading it. As a college coach, you got to think that, do the kids want to play college football? Do they love college? Do they love football and want to play at the next level, or is this a feather in the cap to the parents? So that's a question that's always going to get asked by college coaches with parents leading the recruiting process. I think college coaches at the end of the day want guys that are driven, that are going to come to campus and not need to be babysat. And if parents are really leading the way, again, that's going to be a red flag. Is this the guy that's going to need his hand held a little bit, or is he going to be able to cut that string and really thrive once he gets here?
It's interesting, Coach, but parents are going to listen to this. They're going to say, well, I mean, I got to help out my son or daughter. I got to take him to this camp. We got to go to this university. I got to get him signed up for this stuff. I got to help pay for this stuff. So parents are going to say, I got to be in the middle of this.
I think being in the middle of it, or giving a helpful nudge to do things is one thing and completely and totally acceptable. But kind of wearing the hat and making the recruiting process about you as a parent and not about the kid and him making a decision. I mean, how many times have we seen a National Signing Day happen where a kid picks a college and the parent is all ticked off at what college they pick? I mean, that happens every year. Red flag right there. Is it about the kids or is it about the parent? So I think naturally the parent should lead it. They should kind of guide the process, but at the end of the day, it's the kid's decision. It's his future. It's not a feather in the cap for parents. That's not the way it should be treated.
Couple more for Doug Samuels. I'll let him run. Good perspective. Talking recruiting. It's summertime right now. Kids going to camps and every which way. Footballscoop.com. Great site. Do kids need to be on good high school football teams to be noticed, Doug? I mean, you're in Michigan, right? So we're in South Dakota. Does a program need to be good for my son to be spotted or daughter on a soccer team or whatever?
No, I don't think you absolutely have to be. I think it certainly helps. And college coaches want to add kids from good programs that understand what it takes to win. But I don't think that's the end-all be-all. If you're going to these camps and you're shining against some of the the top talent in the area, that's going to get you a long way and at least get you on a coach's radar where they'll be able to evaluate from there. I think a couple of years ago, the Vander Esch kid that I think was at Boise State played 8-man football or 6-man football or something in Idaho, and he got kind of discovered, and he was a day 1 or day 2 draft pick. So, if your talent's there and you're doing enough to get out there and get in front of coaches, then the internet's a wide, vast place with a lot of information that people don't really fly under the radar anymore. If you're going out there and you're doing these camps and you're active on social media, coaches are going to find you.
Okay, here's the big one, Coach. The NIL landscape here, name, image, and likeness. Now, these are for the real deal recruits. But I want to know, just for example, in Michigan, in your league or conference, name, image, and likeness, is it being thrown around by high school kids like, well, I might be able to get a deal here or there? How much of a factor is that going to be over the next few years?
Man, we play in kind of a smaller league, so we don't see a lot of that. We had a kid a couple years ago go to Nebraska, I think, to play from our league, but that's kind of rare. I don't hear a lot of that. I think it's probably talked about maybe in the Detroit area, and maybe some of the Grand Rapids Catholics that have some 3-4-star recruits maybe, but it's not something that's being talked about a ton.
That's interesting. I think you're kind of going to have two different sets, right, Coach? Like kids that maybe go to colleges to play, and hey, I want a good opportunity and a good fit, and then there's the elite where I'm picking where I'm going to go on TV, and name, image, and likeness has to be huge.
Yeah, and there's also the schools that have done a really creative job with the name, image, likeness stuff that are getting it to their walk-ons. They're getting them a $30,000 stipend or something like that. I think Miami and Arkansas, they have deals for their walk-ons to try and entice them to go there and develop and not have to worry about working a job and just putting time in the weight room and things like that. So I think that's. I mean, we hear about the big 6-figure NIL deals and things like that because it's the big recruits. But to me, what I'm more interested in is how are you maximizing the other 80% of your roster, as opposed to just your top 5 or 10%.
Doug Samuels tonight, high school football coach and college football writer for FootballScoop.com, on Twitter at Coach Sams. Doug, always good, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Doug Samuels tonight, college football writer for FootballScoop.com and high school varsity head football coach. He coaches out in Michigan. Love that perspective. He's been in the college level coaching. He's at the high school level, which I love to hear, and also talks to numerous coaches covering the college football landscape for FootballScoop.com. I asked that question. It's that summer of recruiting right now. If you have had kids or have kids coming up, how much should parents be involved in the recruiting and promotion of their high school athlete? Very involved in it all, or just assist them to get here and there? That's the question I asked. I've got the results because I threw this out. I wanted to have the results before I started the show. And I have the results on our vote total here. And it's heavy. The parents should just assist here and there. The parents should just assist here and there. Yet, I'm going to take a guess that 75% of parents, if they have those athletes that are trying to go to the college level, 75% of parents, I bet, are very involved. That's my guess. I don't have the scientific data. That's the Nate Brown Show guess. Because the parents aren't going to, okay, I'm going to take a step back. Yeah, okay. I'm going to let you lead this and lead this. I'll help you get to here for this camp and get to Nebraska or wherever you're going. But no, then we're trying to network and we're trying to get to know this coach and that coach. And by the way, that's how life is. You try and work deals, try and get relationships built so you can go this place and that place, set people up for success, whether it's yourself or your family. So it's interesting what the audience says today. I said, how much should parents be involved in the recruitment and promotion of their high school athlete on the recruiting trail? 26% of the audience said very involved. Just 26%. And that's what Doug just said, the coach. He said the parents shouldn't be very involved. So 26% of you say very involved. 74% said the parents just assist here and there. Yet I'm going to say in the real world of what at least I've seen, there is a ton of involvement. A ton of involvement. Because parents are going to look out, they're going to say, hey, look at my son, look at my daughter, look at this, look at this, look at this. And they're going to use whatever they can to try and get their son or daughter to wherever. I mean, that's what parents are going to do. And guess what? Parents also going to do that after you get through college to maybe we'll try and help you get a job here, and we're going to network. I know this CEO over here, and I can help you get a job there. I mean, that's why I said 75% of parents, I'm going to say, conservatively, are very involved in the process. Very involved. And by the way, I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong. I don't think we all need to be LeVar Ball, okay? All the parents, you can't be LeVar Ball, loudmouth, going crazy, it's all about me. That thing turns people off. But I'm going to say there's a high percentage of parents that are very, very involved. I don't think it's just 74% say, yeah, just assist here and there. When you're talking about your son or daughter, they're in the middle of that thing. Scott Pianowski's on next on the Monday show, the Nate Brown Show, featuring Major League Baseball writer Scott Pianowski. So there's a manager out there right now in Major League Baseball who's getting booed, and they're actually saying this team should fire him. We've already fired 2 guys. Girardi's out in Philly. Joe Madden's out for the Angels. Now this crowd's saying, you got to fire this guy. Did he make one of the worst calls in a baseball game that we've seen in a while last week? We'll get into the guy and the situation with Scott Pianowski next.
Your sports, your show. This is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Pioneer Bank and Trust has long been trusted for financing businesses and ranches in western South Dakota. We also do consumer loans. If you're looking for a new or new-to-you car, truck, camper, boat, or just about anything else you can think of, and you want a quick answer from a local lender, visit one of our 6 Pioneer Bank and Trust locations and talk with our consumer loan specialists. Or go to mylocal.com to fill out an application today. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. Coming up the 18th of June, we'll be holding the 8th Annual Wild Bill Days Classic Car Auction at the Deadwood Mountain Grand in Deadwood, South Dakota. Now, if you have a classic collector car, pickup, side-by-side, summer toys, campers, boats to sell, contact us today. You can register online on our website. Look for the Wild Bill Days Classic Car Auction Saturday, June 18th, 10 o'clock at the Deadwood Mountain Grand. For more details, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Fans know some things just go together. Slam dunks and three-pointers, face paint and super fans, game days and tailgates. I'm State Farm agent Scott Carlson, and I know another winning combination, home and auto. Me and my team are here to help life go right when you combine your home and auto insurance, which saves you time and money. So get your home and auto on the same team and score some savings. Call me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, at 342-0188.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, live Fox Sports Rapid City. Question I asked you, how much should parents be involved in the recruitment and promotion of their high school athlete? Hey, maybe you have a kid coming up or a kid in high school right now. How much should parents be involved? It's that summer season right now, and we got to go to this camp, we got to do this, we got to do that, and we got to get recruited, right? How much should parents be involved? Listener text here, 720-1067. Dad needs to hire a sports agent when the kid's in high school. I think you're being sarcastic. Maybe. It is 2022. Scott Pianowski's on tonight. Major League Baseball, yahoosports.com. It's on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski. Let's get an update. Scott, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good today. I wanted to... So we have two managers that are gone. Girardi's out in Philly. Madden's out with the Angels. We talked about that. Now we have a fan base, at least, that's been chanting, been yelling, saying the White Sox will not get to where they're supposed to be with Tony La Russa in the clubhouse. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think he lost everybody with that Corey Seager walk. 1-2 pitch. Goes to somebody, pitches to somebody off the disabled list. It's a home run. It's a case of, I'm old enough to remember when Tony La Russa was the smartest guy in baseball. I'm sorry, Trey Turner was the guy he walked, actually. And then, of course, Max Muncy hit the home run. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the point is, anybody in a 1-2 count is in a disadvantageous position, and that's why going lefty on lefty doesn't make sense. You pitch to the guy who's already in a hole. But I remember when George Will wrote the famous, story about La Russa, and La Russa was the guy who changed all the bullpen managing. He had a law degree. He won with the White Sox the first time around. He obviously had plenty of success with Oakland. He had plenty of success with St. Louis. But managing is a young person's game, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we saw Girardi and we saw Madden ushered out, and the Phillies, coincidence or not, have played very well since they made the move, maybe the manager job has changed so much, Nate. It used to be these field managers were their own people when they got in the dugout, and they were making the calls. Now the strategy is pretty much dictated by the front office, and a lot of times a manager's hands are tied in his job. We talked about this a little bit last week with Terry Francona. What makes him such a good manager is understanding the emotional makeup of his team. I just wonder, Tony La Russa, and I take no joy saying this because he's somebody I admired, growing up and learning about baseball. He was one of the guys I thought, okay, this is somebody who really has it all together. But I don't think it's a job that makes a lot of sense once you've aged out of a generation and the game has changed. And Tony La Russa, I don't think, has changed with it. I think he's still managing like it's 1991, and he's got Ricky Henderson and Dennis Eckersley, and he's managing a different game right now. I don't think his players really remember his heyday, and I don't know, he just seemed like the right person for the job. And coincidentally or not, the White Sox, the most talented team, I think, in the AL Central, are right now 27-31. They're in third place in that division. Minnesota's got, I think, a lesser roster. Cleveland certainly has a lesser roster. And I wonder if maybe, there's only so many things a manager can do. But if I were the White Sox, or a White Sox fan, I would want a different person in charge. I want a different voice in that clubhouse.
It's interesting, Scott, because the media members in Chicago, they're now getting after Tony La Russa, and he was after that 1-2. Yeah, as you said, Trey Turner is in a 1-2 count. He's behind, in case people missed it last week. And then La Russa said, let's intentionally walk him. And then the next guy up hit a shot. Dodgers went on to beat him. And now the media's saying this isn't good enough, and the White Sox are underachieving. Do you think legitimately La Russa is on a hot seat here?
For sure. Because this is a team that thought they were the favorites in the division going in, and with expanded playoffs, you would have thought they were a shoo-in to make it. I'm really curious to see what Lance Lynn does tonight. He's making his first start, and it could not be a softer landing. The Detroit Tigers did not hit a home run last week. They're far and away the worst offense in baseball. They're not even close. They can't even see. They're like an island. They can't even see land anywhere else where they're standing right now. So I think Lance Lynn comes into a really soft landing spot. Last week, the Yankees hit 18 home runs. The Tigers hit 0. They hit 1 home run in June, which is just crazy. We see the offense has been amped up, but not in Detroit. So I'm curious to see what Lynn does. But I think it only makes sense to fire a manager in season for one of two reasons. One is if he's just done something that's so undefendable that you have to get rid of him. And the other reason is if you think the season can be salvaged and you think you're sitting on a team that's underachieving. That's certainly the card Philadelphia played. That's the card that the Angels played. I think it's a reasonable card for the White Sox to play. I don't think if they don't pick it up by the end of the month, I think there's a fair chance La Russa won't be managing.
Scott Pianowski on Major League Baseball, Yahoo Sports here on the Nate Brown Show. Tony La Russa under fire. I want to go to the Dodgers. They lose 3 in a row to the Giants. Not a lot of offense. That lineup's unbelievable. We know that, Scott. What's the story with the Dodgers?
You still have the best run differential in the National League, and it's second overall in baseball. The big story to them, and I think we may have teased this last week, is that their under-heralded pitchers have outpitched the stars, right? Kershaw got hurt early. Walker Buehler has had a disappointing season. Now he's got a forearm injury. They're talking about 6 to 8 weeks. They're just hoping at this point that Walker Buehler can be part of their playoff rotation, maybe tune up in September, but he's not going to pitch for most of the summer, and they've gotten less out of, the Stars have not done what they expected there. And yet here is Tyler Anderson's been great. Tony Gonsolin's been great. And the lineup, I mean, there are some odd spots in it. Bellinger's kind of a hard guy to peg right now. But Mookie Betts is one of the 3 or 4 best players in baseball. We can say that just about every year. You still have Freeman in his prime. You still have Turner in his prime. They just got Muncy back. Will Smith is one of the few catchers in baseball who can actually hit. It's just an ugly position offensively. But Will Smith is one of the better ones. It's a very deep lineup, 1 to 9. They get on base. They can hit home runs. They can run the bases and steal a base if they want to. So I still think they're in pretty good shape. It's going to be a matter of when they get to the playoffs, who's your 1, who's your 2, who's your 3. And I think every team has to ask that. The Giants, they have a bunch of number 3 starters, a bunch of good pitchers, but they don't really have a horse. Do the Padres have somebody behind Musgrove? Darvish is kind of hit or miss. Blake Snell left his Cy Young form in Tampa Bay. Not sure who he is. And I know we talk about the Mets a lot. Do they have a healthy Max Scherzer? Do they have a healthy Jacob deGrom in the postseason? If they did, I would make them the NL favorite. But if one of those guys is out, it changes the complexion. If both of them are out, I don't think they can go deep. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a lot of these teams. The Mets have a good offense. They put the ball in play. They work counts. They get into your bullpen. Who's going to have healthy pitching at the end of the season? Is Walker Buehler going to be healthy? Is Clayton Kershaw going to be healthy? Are the Mets guys going to be healthy? Are the Brewers guys going to be healthy? They've had injuries at the front of their rotation with Peralta and Woodruff have been hurt. Burns hasn't been good recently. That looked like a dominant 1, 2, 3 maybe a month ago. I'm not sure who it is now. So at the end of the day, Nate, it's going to come down to who has healthy pitching and healthy frontline pitching. That's who's going to be your October favorite.
Okay, let me ask you about the game itself. My Chicago Cubs were just getting hammered by the Yankees yesterday, so they go position player pitching. The guy's throwing a 35-mile-an-hour pitch. It was 35 miles an hour, Scott, and it was hit for a home run. I guess the slowest measured pitch hit for a home run since 2008, since they started tracking these numbers. Position pitchers. What can we do there?
I think teams have gotten a little bit too cute. I mean, one of the problems with baseball right now is just that the pitching staffs are so heavily loaded. Most teams don't have a lot of stuff on their bench. So sometimes the pinch hitter is a backup catcher. It's a spare infielder who doesn't normally play. They did add the DH in the National League, which was a good thing for a number of reasons. One, you want to add the extra offensive player, and 2, nobody wants to watch the pitchers swing and miss or bunt or run the bases or get hurt when they're not pitching. So that's a step in the right direction. But what I hope it may be 5 to 10 years from now, when baseball kind of has another half generation life in front of it, I'd like to see the game be more with the benches, more with the offense, and every team isn't carrying these gargantuan pitching staffs where everybody's throwing an inning and stuff. I think that smothers the game. The bullpen smothers the game. The pitching smothers the game. These guys are just so hard to hit now. You can understand why the batters have sold out. They're trying to hit balls in the seats because it's just so hard to get 3 hits in a row off somebody's coming from the bullpen, just going to throw 20 pitches as hard as they can, and the thing moves so much. I think a lot of strike zone reform we need. We need better umpiring, maybe automated umpires. Maybe they need to rethink what the strike zone is supposed to be. The strike zone was meant, when it first was initialized into baseball, the idea is how do we get the best game? How do we get incentive for the pitchers to throw a pitch that the batters can hit? Right now, the pitchers are able to throw pitches that batters generally can't hit. So my friend Joe Sheehan in his newsletter, and highly recommended, by the way, talks a lot about maybe the strike zone is the reform. You can't make the pitchers throw any softer. You can't ban sliders. You can't do that. I don't think moving the mound back would work. I think maybe reforming the strike zone would make for a more watchable game down the road.
Last one, Scott Pianowski, Yahoo Sports, Major League Baseball. The Orioles are in a situation here. They have siblings in ownership, and now there's a lawsuit from one sibling against the other, alleging he was going to move the team to Nashville. That brother has since said, no, we're gonna keep this thing here in Baltimore. What should we think about an ownership dispute like that?
Yeah, I mean, families and ownership have been messy before. Remember the McCourt divorce that derailed the Dodgers for several seasons? It just went on. It was a mess, and I just want to think Baltimore, and I know they haven't been relevant for several years, but that's a major baseball market to me. It's obviously one of the best parks, just a gem of a park, and they kind of kicked off the craze of the architecture change where you could have all the great old school things, but all the great new architecture ideas in Camden Yards. I hope they stay in Baltimore, and just managing a team, owning a team, sharing that in a family, it just seems like that's a bad idea. We've seen it with the Lakers, the Buss family, right? There's been power struggles there, and eventually Jeannie Buss had to put her foot down, and I mean, what a mess the Lakers were this year to not even make the playoffs with all the expectations they have. But it just seems like when families get involved in ownership, a lot of times they go down really strange paths, and it ends up being a messy situation for everybody.
The Orioles in that spot, at least right now, lawsuit against from one to the other. Scott Pianowski, follow his work on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski, and there, yahoosports.com, Major League Baseball. Scott, always great. Thanks for the time.
Be good, Nate.
Appreciate it. Scott Pianowski on Fox Sports Rapid City, Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. So Tony La Russa's taken some heat here. If you missed this, Tony La Russa, manager of the White Sox. We have a White Sox fan out there. I don't know if he's listening right now. There's only one. No, I'm kidding. I'm a Cubs fan, okay? I'm just kidding around. La Russa had a batter at a 1-2 count. He intentionally walked him, Trey Turner, when they were playing the Dodgers. It was 1-2. Have you seen something like that? I don't watch every baseball game in America, but I don't remember seeing anything like that. It's 1-2. We're at the advantage here. We intentionally walked him. The next guy, Max Muncy, hasn't been on fire by any means. Then he hit a 3-run homer. The Dodgers go on to win. And now the White Sox fans, they're already frustrated anyway. Tony kind of has a short leash there. Tony La Russa, some people haven't loved that. You cannot intentionally walk somebody 1-2 count. Right? White Sox fan? I mean, the White Sox media is just all over him. Or I should say the Chicago media that cover the White Sox. 670 The Score. It'll never happen, but White Sox fans deserve to hear Jerry Reinsdorf explain or defend why he believes Tony La Russa is a manager capable of leading a team. White Sox beat writer for The Athletic. The decisions are controversial, but Tony La Russa's purview extends beyond that. His team gives away extra outs, doesn't execute, get runners home, plays beneath its talent level. So the media is starting to get after him. And I'm going to say, I don't care if it's Barry Bonds. If it's 1-2, I got Barry Bonds 1-2, I'm finishing it. Finish him. It's 1-2. You look at the analytics and the numbers on that, which Tony La Russa does not, just my guess. You win that battle at 1-2. You win that battle more times than not. Now I intentionally walked him, and then things went really south, and now La Russa's on the hot seat. Well, I mean, for other reasons other than that. Listener text coming in here. From White Sox fan. Tony La Russa, idiot, inexcusable. Okay, I'm with you on that. Cubs and hey, I'm a Cubs fan. I can't say much this year. I tell you. Listener text: if his walk against Trey Turner worked, he would have been seen as a genius. This is another listener here, not the White Sox fan. The guy behind him was batting $150. I would have taken those odds and walked Trey Turner. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I didn't think we'd have fireworks like this in a Major League Baseball decision by Tony La Russa on a Monday Nate Brown show, but I have been proven wrong. By the way, you cannot walk anybody at 1-2. That's a newsflash to anybody. I'm not a baseball coach, manager, anything. I played baseball up until high school, okay? We aren't walking anybody at 1-2. And the player's reaction when he did it, they looked at Freddie Freeman out there. He was on base. And then the second baseman for the White Sox, they kind of looked at each other like, what's Crazy Tony doing? Oh, no, you can't walk him. You can't do it. All right. let's get into this. Chris Danker's next, NBA scout. He's out there. He's seen a lot of Warriors games. I'm going to tell you who's going to win tonight. I've watched every one of these games. I'm going to tell you who's going to win tonight, Game 5, the pivotal. We'll see what Chris thinks next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Warren Chemical and Equipment Company has a 5-step lawn care program to make your lawn the best it can be. Let Warren take care of your lawn weeds, plus 5 applications of fertilizer and micronutrients for a green, healthy lawn. We also offer lawn aeration to help your lawn breathe. Warren's 5-step Lawn Pro service is the original lawn service company in Rapid City. Single applications of weed and feed or just lawn weeds are also available. Call Warren Chemical and Equipment Company for an estimate on our 5-step lawn care program for your lawn. Phone 342-7644.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a chance for scattered storms. Lows around 55. North winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, 71. Partly cloudy skies. Lows around 50. Tomorrow night, mainly clear. Mid-70s. Wednesday, much warmer on Thursday with highs in the low 80s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 78.
You pick the concert you want to see at Deadwood Mountain Grand and leave the rest of First Gold Gaming Resort. Our concert packages include a room for 2 at First Gold, $40 in promo play in our casino, 2 breakfast entrees the next morning, a pair of prime seats to the show, and transportation to and from Deadwood Mountain Grand and First Gold. Prices start as low as $202 for 2 people. So book your concert getaway at First Gold today by calling 800-274-1876.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
Hey, Rapid City, it's Doug Gottlieb. Join me weekdays from 1 to 4 right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports, Rapid City. And now let's get you back to the Nate Brown Show, Rapid City's sports talk show.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, off and running on a Monday, hour 1. The flyby. Hour 2 looks good. Eric Olson coming up. He's covering the College World Series, okay? We don't hit on the College World Series a lot. We're going to do one hitter on it. College World Series, Eric Olson. I'm going to ask him. He covers it for the Associated Press in Omaha coming up. I'm going to ask him, the NCAA cracking down on the college baseball celebrations. No more prop celebrations, the bringing out the sledgehammer and the whatever. NCAA says no. The audience, I asked you today, is the NCAA right on banning those team celebrations with the props? And you say no, they're wrong. You say let them celebrate. I disagree. But I'm old, you know. Chris Danker's on tonight. NetScoutsBasketball.com. He's seen the Warriors. He sees them a lot. Let's go. Warriors, Celtics, Game 5, Golden State. Chris, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time. So I just went into this break, Chris, and I said, okay, I'm going to ask Chris Danker who wins Game 5 tonight. And I know who wins, okay? I know who wins. I'm not going to say yet. You tell me.
You've got it figured out, Nate?
I do.
Look, this is the game, I think. Celtics win, they go home with a chance to close it. The Warriors win. Obviously, they got 2 to win 1. And I'm here in the Bay Area. I see them all the time, and can't help but being a fan. I think the Warriors win. But I think there's some key things to look at, too, along the way.
Okay, so I'm going the other way. You're the basketball expert, and so then tomorrow you can send me a text, say, hey, nice job. But so I'm going to say the Celtics. I feel like the Warriors have not been the best version of themselves. I really do, Chris. I felt like they snuck one out there in Boston. You could say, well, Steph played really, really well, and they got it done. I felt like Boston's been on this edge the whole series, and I felt like they let one get away out there in Golden State last time. Something tells me Boston is just as good as Golden State.
It might be better, and that's why I say I think there's some key things to look at along the way. The Celtics have proven to me, I was even saying to somebody when I was watching, is the East that much better than the West? Because the Celtics were pushed, right, all through the playoffs, whereas the Warriors, I'm not going to say anything's been easy, but, they've been able to get through those series. And, I've come away from some of these games feeling like Boston just might be the better team. Now, it doesn't mean that that's always going to shake out in the wash and in a 7-game series and the home games and all that stuff. Relatively equal teams, and certainly at this level when you've got star players, sometimes guys can just take over and help you win a game, and you feel like you let it go, or you, as you said, you stole a win on the road like the Warriors. Curry had a phenomenal effort with the 43 points, but nobody else really shot it great. Clay made some really difficult threes, and they got a little bit more out of Poole, which I think is really a key guy for the Warriors, and has not been very good in my opinion. And so, some of those things factor in, but basically, I think for the Warriors to win, they got to be the tougher team. They have to win the rebounding battle, which they did in Game 4, and I think they got hammered in Game 3 in that kind of over a little bit lopsided Celtics win. The Celtics, hammered them on the boards. They forced turnovers. The Warriors can definitely get loose with the ball. One of the things with the Warriors is the way they play. If they play 3-2 and they turn it over, I think they lose. And what I mean by that is if they play from 2s to 3s, meaning we're going to let Looney score, we're going to let Draymond score, We're going to get Wiggins to dunk, we're going to get to the rim and get 2s, and then kick it out for 3s, then they're good. And that's been the way. That's been 8 years. That's been the case. When they fall in love with 3s, a lot of these NBA teams, they have a phrase they like to use. They call top lock, where they'll play you from the top down, and basically, you want to go take a layup? Go ahead. And urge you to go that way versus the other. And it's kind of funny because it's like the Warriors are playing, the other direction, thinking we got to shoot a 3 first and then worry about 2s later. I just don't think they're successful when they do that.
That was exactly my next point. It's just been in my head as I've watched this series. I go, the Warriors rely on that 3 so much. Steph hits a ton of them, but one of these, he's gone cold in some games. And I think it happens tonight. He goes for 43 last game. I think it happens. It's just living and dying by the 3. I know that's the NBA, but that's really the Warriors, it feels like.
Yeah, it is the NBA. You're right about that. The NBA and analytics have gotten to the point where anything that's a 2 is considered bad. And unless you're the Suns and you have Chris Paul and guys that can shoot a pull-up that really, really well at a really, really high rate, Devin Booker, well, then okay, they can do it. But anybody else, it better be a layup, dunk, or a 3, and we would prefer a 3 from either corner because the percentages are higher. And, it's gotten to the point where that's analytics, and that's guys are passing up good shots to then throw it out and take a contested 3 because they think the math shakes out. So I'll say this. The Warriors definitely shoot more 3s, but not significant. Like in the last few games between them and the Celtics, it's only a difference of about 3, 4, maybe 5 attempts a game. And when we're talking about shooting 40 some odd 3s a game as the norm, which blows your mind that teams would shoot that many. But I think it's how you go about it that for me is very different in that the Celtics attack the rim and they attack the basket, and Horford certainly helps in that regard. Robert Williams, being more prominent in this series than he's been in others due to the injuries. He's going to get you 3 lob dunks a game. Those guys, Grant Williams a little bit in there, and just Tatum and Brown attacking the rim. more so than, say, Curry and Clay and Poole. Now when you're kicking it out and shooting an open three, that's different than the contested threes that are very difficult to get against this top block defense that the Celtics are throwing at them. But that's why, you see in the last game, Curry was going to the rim. He was driving the ball to the basket. And, yeah, the highlights were, him hitting a 35-footer and whatnot. But, just look at the clips. He was getting to the basket a lot more than what you're typically used to seeing. And again, I just think over the years I've watched the Warriors a lot, and they go through these slumps. And you can just look at it. They just get real heavy outside in.
Yeah.
It needs to be the other way around. I think they got to go to the rim and play inside out.
I think that's a good point. I don't think they do. And so I go Celtics tonight. Chris Denker goes Warriors. That's going to be fun. Big, pivotal Game 5 tonight, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Chris Denker, NetScoutsBasketball.com. You're also an AAU coach. Quick question here. I asked my audience, how much should parents be involved in the recruitment and promotion of their high school athlete? Okay? These are parents with high school athletes. Maybe some of them want to go on to play basketball, football, whatever it is. How much should parents be involved? And I'll ask you this. What percentage of parents are heavily involved, Chris? You're in the middle of this.
Yeah, we could go on for days about this. I'll try to kind of read into your question. I think, a parent needs to be involved in their child's college decision and kind of giving them guidance and whatnot, helping them to make the right decision that they're going to have to then go and live away from home and all those things, right, whether you're an athlete or not. So you definitely want to. But I think where you're maybe, if I'm reading into the question a little bit, it's all the other stuff and the extraneous stuff that you see at the, AAU level and getting involved with scouts or, obviously it wasn't long ago, this FBI probe into all these programs and guys getting paid and all that kind of stuff. And now with the name, image, and likeness, that thing's coming up even more now where it's almost borderline legal to just pay them outright. So now, you're talking about parent involvement again, and so that can be problematic. Where the NCAA has tried a little bit and not well enough and not enough, is the high school coach, I think, needs to be more involved. It needs to get back to where there's some kind of grounded involvement of that person who then also probably has a relationship with the parents, the school community versus just because these guys, they'll change AAU teams from one tournament to the next. Like it's all over the place. And so that's getting out of hand. And consequently then, obviously with the portal and everything else, there's just so much movement. I think it's really hurt the game.
I'll tell you, Chris, I believe parents will be involved because, you said it's the college decision. It's the life decision. Parents are going to help their kids. They have to, right? They're going to network and try and talk to this coach and that coach. But I said this. They don't need to be LeVar Ball, but can they be a happy medium, right? I mean, there's the LeVar Balls, and then there's parents that, well, I'm gonna help my son or daughter get to where they want to go without running the show completely.
100%, totally agree with you. Yeah, and I think even the example you just gave is a good one. That's exactly right. You want to be there as a guiding force and to maybe answer questions and give advice and help observe things that maybe they don't see because they're wowed by we're talking about basketball, so you're wowed by the arena or that they're a Nike school, the uniforms, the fans, but you got to kind of look at, okay, well, where are you? What region of the country? Are you close to home? Does that matter to you? What's the academic thing like? What's the coaches like? All that. Maybe parents can help in that regard.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. Chris Denker tonight, NetScoutsBasketball.com. He's got the Warriors tonight. Unfortunately, I'm going Celtics. I don't love to say it, but that's where I'm going. I think they beat the Warriors tonight. Warriors missing too many threes tonight. Chris, we'll circle back tomorrow, okay? Good luck to you.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right. Appreciate it. Chris Denker on, pro scout, great basketball mind, netscoutsbasketball.com. He takes the Warriors. I go Celtics tonight. Game 5, 7 o'clock. Warriors, he said it for me. They go threes first, twos sometime. And I don't think they're going to make threes at an ultimate clip every game. I know it's Steph. I mean, he's unbelievable. But I'm going Boston, a little more physical, a little tougher. They've been on the verge every game, really. They got toasted here this last one because they kind of mailed it in. But I'm going Boston in a surprise tonight, taking the lead at Golden State tonight. Okay, this is a tough segment for me next. This is a tough one. It really is. And I'm going to be fair on it. There's a sport that's gaining popularity for youth, all the way down to 7 and 8 years old. It's gaining in popularity. But in some states, it's banned. We'll discuss it next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, streaming live at FoxSportsRapidCity.com and right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Honda True. Discover 3 tiers of vehicle coverage that work for you. Only at Denny Menholt Rushmore Honda. The inspection is just the beginning. Honda certified pre-owned means peace of mind with incredible benefits like 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange option. Check out all the benefits and search inventory at honda-true.com or come by Denny Menholt Rushmore Honda in Rapid City.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Physical therapy, athletic training, and sports science all at one place. Physio in Rapid City. Dr. Dan Jensen and his team at Physio are ready to help you perform at your best. From the youth athlete to the active adult, trust the team at Physio. Physio offers the skilled, personalized approach to physical therapy and athletic training, building the best athletes in the Black Hills as the official strength and conditioning provider for Stevens, Central, and the Rapid City Rush. Learn more at bhphysio.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Hey, good stuff tonight. Thanks for being on the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for spending some time with us. The Drive at 5 on a Monday on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. Oh, we just took a look at the selection here, Summit. Man, really good. Some new cars in right now. SummitAutoGRP.com. Before you buy your next pre-owned, get the Summit difference. Experience car buying truly built around you with the right financing, the right vehicle, and other high-pressure sales stuff. Stacy and Matt have the crew, and they have the lot. Great selection, SummitAutoGRP.com. And the Drive at 5 on Fox Sports Rapid City. Craig Maddox coming up from Sioux Falls tonight. We'll shoot around a lot of stuff. South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Craig Maddox on the East River meets West River segment to kick off the week. We're going to have a College World Series segment. I mean, the College World Series, what a great event. Omaha, great event. It's the most underreported sport out there on the national scene. I believe that, college baseball. We'll talk to Eric Olson. He's covering the World Series in Omaha for the Associated Press. We'll get into it. By the way, a huge upset, like nobody even knows about it. Notre Dame beat the number 1 team, Tennessee. I mean, it's a stunner. A stunner. We'll talk to him coming up. Busy second hour on the Monday Nate Brown Show. So this one is interesting to me. Really, really interesting. Last month, they had their biggest youth tournament ever in this sport, and it is growing in popularity. Kids, just over 200 bouts. Okay, hang on. You know what I'm talking about? As a matter of fact, I haven't seen this with kids. Okay, I'm not on this circuit. I didn't compete in this. Don't have kids competing in it. Not aware of the whole thing, and that's why it got my attention here, this story out. They had their biggest event ever, this youth MMA league. This is out in California, which is one of the states. It was the first state to sanction mixed martial arts tournaments for youth, all the way 7 and 8 years old. 7 and 8 years old. So they had a massive MMA tournament. Again, I said last month, this is the biggest one ever assembled, okay, by this league. And they had it last month out in California. And when you look at the numbers were growing up until the pandemic mess. It went down a little bit there, and now it's coming back. And what's interesting about this, MMA is massive, right? We just had UFC. I was seeing my feed on Twitter just fill up with UFC stuff this weekend. So the popularity of UFC, a lot of you guys, I mean, you look at it, people are going up to Deadwood and watching the bouts and actually betting on the bouts and the whole thing. So UFC has grown big time. I wasn't aware that mixed martial arts was growing with youth sports, okay? And so I looked at this and I said, man, I actually wasn't aware you got 7 and 8 year olds competing in sanctioned MMA tournaments. I wasn't aware of that. And the conversation is this. Some states sanction it. Some states actually ban it for the youth, okay? Like Texas, you know, you would think, hey, Texas, big state, you know, they're pretty open, right? Pretty open. They now say, their athletic commission now says you can't do MMA tournaments under 17. That's Texas. But this league, this MMA league that started in California for youth, they've held tournaments in Wisconsin, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Nevada. And some of the states ban it, like Missouri, Michigan, now Texas, under 17 years old. They say no more MMA youth competitions. It's illegal in Texas under the age of 17. I ask you this question. Youth MMA participation is increasing, according to the story I'm reading through today. It's increasing. What do you think of kids competing in MMA? Competing in that sport? Young kids. Is it not good, too dangerous, or it's solely the parent's decision? When it comes down to it, it's solely the parent's decision. What do you say to that question of the day? 720-1067. I said it's a tough question for me. As I said, I'm not on the MMA circuit. I don't have kids participating in it. I don't know a lot of folks that do. However, guess what? I do know folks that do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? The various aspects of things going on there. I mean kids. I mean, I know people who have kids doing that, right? That's also combat sports. So the big question I have is, I think, I'm not an expert on jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, you know, the differences in stuff. I'm not an expert on it, I'll tell you that. But I do feel MMA gets put in a certain category that's different from karate, boxing, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, some of that stuff. Because I just did a search. I'm like, could you go and compete in an MMA youth tournament here in South Dakota? I couldn't quite see if it was full-on MMA, but there are a lot of these events throughout South Dakota. There's one coming up next month, like a big one in Sioux Falls, that has all sorts of the different fighting. All sorts of the different fighting and all sorts of ages. The South Dakota Athletic Commission is what regulates MMA in this state. Okay? I haven't seen... So I do know folks that are in the combat sports side. Does MMA get, what do you want to say, a bad rap? I'm just looking at it, 7 and 8 years old, going, Well, some people are going to say football, youth football. You got head problems and you got boxing going on. And why not MMA? Some states say yes. Some states say no. California, one of the first states to sanction it, regulate it, and they've got, it looks like, one of the biggest leagues. They just had their biggest event in history last month with youth all the way down to 7. What's your answer? 720-1067. The Barron's Wilson text line. Youth MMA participation is up. What do you think of that? 54% say today not good, too dangerous. 46% solely the parents' decision. I'm going to ask Craig Maddock, my next guest. South Dakota Public Broadcasting, live from Sioux Falls. That question and more on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Great news from Dale's Tire and Retreading. We are now part of the Pops Tire Service Network. Same 2 locations, new name. Pops Tire is committed to the same great service that Dale's has provided Rapid City. Pops is one of the largest commercial tire and retread dealers in the country. Whatever your tire choice, make Pops your choice. We welcome this opportunity to support and grow with the Dale's Tire customers. Visit your local Pops for all your auto, light truck, commercial, and farm tire needs.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy tonight with a chance for scattered storms. Lows around 55. North winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, 71. Partly cloudy skies. Lows around 50. Tomorrow night, mainly clear. Mid-70s. Wednesday, much warmer on Thursday with highs in the low 80s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's...
We all have hard days at work. This is what champion bullfighter Dusty Tuckness does for a living. Now this is a tough day at work. When Dusty comes home, he likes things quiet. Windows and patio doors from Renewal by Andersen not only make things quiet, they cut your energy bills and add to the value of your home. No matter what you do for a living, Renewal by Andersen windows and patio doors. Because coming home should always feel this good.
We live in beef country, and First Gold Gaming Resort has dedicated a night to it. Every Friday night, First Gold presents their all-you-can-eat USDA Choice Prime Rib Buffet, complete with several delicious sides, plus a soup, salad, and dessert bar for only $26.95. Now, we haven't forgotten about you seafood lovers, so we'll continue to offer Deadwood's Best all-you-can-eat prime rib and crab buffet every Saturday night. When one slice of prime or one serving of crab legs isn't enough, come to the all-you-can-eat buffets at First Gold, your first stop on Main Street as you're coming into Deadwood.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, good stuff tonight. Thanks for being a part of the program. Hope you had a good Monday. 5:30 in the Drive at 5 on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Well, let's get it. Craig Maddock's in tonight, kicking off the week. South Dakota Public Broadcasting, Sioux Falls. Craig Maddock on Twitter, at Craig Maddock. And he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Craig, good to have you. How are you?
Pretty good. How about that little Donnie Iris coming in?
Oh, you like that? You like Donnie?
Aaliyah. Oh, yeah. It's I love it. That's a great tune.
Okay.
Great tune.
You just wanted to keep listening to that, and you're like, I got to talk to Nate. All right.
Yeah, I know.
We'll take a breather here. By the way, let me ask you, have you seen, speaking of nostalgia, have you seen Top Gun Maverick? Have you seen Top Gun?
I have not. I have not yet. I probably will someday, but you know what? I'm not a very big movie guy. I don't go to. In fact, I don't remember the last movie I went to. It may have been 5-6 years ago. I'm just one of those guys. I just don't get into movies, and I'm trying to figure out when that happened because, back in in the 70s and the early 80s, I go to movies, but in fact, I even worked at a movie house when I was in high school.
Wow!
I was the one running the movies in the movie house.
That's interesting.
And,
maybe it scarred you.
No. I mean, there's. I mean, movies are great entertainment, but for some reason, they just. My wife loves to go, and she'll probably go. And sometimes she'll go to a movie by herself. But
don't make her do that, Craig. Don't make her do that.
At least she's going to a movie, or I just don't get. Sorry.
By the way,
someday I will. I'll go see Maverick.
Okay, I saw Top Gun Maverick because everybody gives me the reviews and they tell them you got to see it. You got to see it. Me and my wife had our anniversary, and so we went and saw it. Great show. Okay, so I highly recommend it, even to Craig Maddock.
Don't tell me what happened. Don't tell me what happens at the end.
Okay, the non-moviegoer. By the way, I love movies, but they got to be good, Craig. Maybe you've gone to the wrong ones. They got to be quality. I'm not going to the theater just for anything. I mean, I'm going
telling
for
you
quality.
right now, my top 2 movies of all time, no doubt. If they were showing in the movie theaters right now, I probably would go. One, of course, is the best all-time movie ever, which is Dumb and Dumber. Oh. And then the number 2, very close behind, is Christmas Vacation. So,
I love that. That's
those,
good.
Those are my 2 best movies that I totally enjoy.
Yeah, forget about the Shawshank Redemption and some of these.
I saw that one. That was good.
Okay,
that was good.
These are the all-time classics. By the way, Christmas Vacation is an all-time classic, and Dumb and Dumber. I'll give you that. I got to ask your perception of this. I just did this segment, and I wasn't even hardly aware that this was going on. Some states ban this sport. Some states are embracing it. They just had their biggest event ever last month out in California. They regulated, one of the first states to accept it, youth MMA, mixed martial arts, youth all the way down to 7 and 8 years old. Mm-hmm. What do you say to mixed martial arts tournaments at 7 and 8?
I've seen video of this, and the kids are wearing a lot of protection.
Yes,
they're wearing a big pad around their head. They got gloves that are padded. They got like soccer knee pads or whatever, the shin pads.
Mm-hmm.
So they got protection. I'm really not into that. I don't think. I mean. In the old days, kids would get into boxing.
That still goes on too. We got youth boxing going on.
Yeah, youth boxing going on, and the MMA. I have a problem with it just because the people who challenge MMA versus boxing will always say that MMA is much safer. It's a much safer sport. The chances. When these kids fall down, they're not taking blows like they do with the pros. They're getting them up almost right away. So the wrestling factor isn't there. Now, these are just some of the videos that I saw where the wrestling factor wasn't a part really of the MMA. It was more getting up and taking the punches and throwing a leg kick once in a while. I'm not surprised that some states have a problem with it, mainly because of the safety of the kids and the blows that they would take to the head. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this thing grows. Normally things that come from California eventually hit across the country.
Well, it's interesting because they just had over 199 bouts, kids all the way from 7 and 8 up to 17 in California last month, a national championship tournament. It was the biggest they've ever had. And they say the sport's growing. I asked my audience what they think of it. 54% right now say not good, too dangerous for kids. 46% say it's solely the parent's decision. One parent, Craig, said, hey, I'm preparing my son to be prepared for self-defense. This is a life lesson.
I can see that. I can see that totally. I could see this where families are saying, okay, it's kind of like wrestling a little bit, where you're out there all by yourself. It's up to you to defend yourself and to become a good wrestler and to take defeat and become a better wrestler. It'd be the same thing here, where if you've got a kid that, let's say shy, not Nate Brown-like, but, a kid that this might be good for them. And but I don't know. It's going to take me a while to figure this one out.
Okay, it's interesting. It really is. I didn't know that the sport really had that side of it, and it does. And by the way, they would say, hey, there's jiu-jitsu going on. There's all sorts of things. You guys got a big event in Sioux Falls coming up. It's all sorts of specialties, all sorts of fighting at all sorts of ages. It's a big event coming up in Sioux Falls next month.
That's big. That is big, and there are a lot of kids at a very young age starting out in that too.
Okay, so here's the other question. You've already had kids come up through this. Right now it's summer. This means if you have a high school athlete, you're going to be going to this camp, that camp. I'm trying to get recruited if you're trying to be a college player of some sort. How much should parents be involved in the recruitment of their son or daughter? Here we go. Here we go.
Let's face it, dad is one of the major problems with it because mom and dad, they all think that their kid is the next great college athlete, and they're going to get a huge scholarship. Coaches can see through that. How many times have seen dad out there doing more of the coaching than sitting in the stands coaching?
Yes. I've argued this, Craig. I said parents are going to be involved. They have to be. They have to
support their kids. They need to support their kids. I just fear that sometimes these kids just get overwhelmed with some pressure that they've got to perform because mom and dad are trying to get them a scholarship, and they're the ones out there spending the money, telling them, all right, we're spending all this money, travel, whatever. We're doing this because you need to get a scholarship, and sometimes we maybe put some undue pressure on these kids.
Okay, so
if they're good enough, the coach is going to find them, no doubt. It doesn't matter what sport. If they're decent enough at a sport, the coaches will find it. Yep.
Oh, you believe that. So it doesn't matter if dad or mom do a little networking and get them to this camp and get them to that camp. I think that can matter.
At what age? Are we talking elementary here?
No, 16, recruiting time.
No. Hey, when high school comes, when they're in high school, that's their chance. That is their chance for recruitment. And until they're 9th, 10th, or 11th grader, come on. Wait until you're in high school, because then your actions on the court or on the field, there's all this video out there they can get, and the connection that coaches have with other coaches. That's what is the big thing for kids to get scholarships. It's not necessarily the old man.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff tonight. Last one for Craig Maddock. Did you see this? In 4 years, we are going to have the boys AA and A state basketball tournaments combined in Rapid City. It's just because you guys in Sioux Falls messed things up.
You finally have stolen it from Sioux Falls.
Well, yeah, you guys messed up your schedule out there, so they're like, oh, Rapid City's going to test run the AA and A boys together, and actually, I'm excited about it. I wonder if this would be something that people go, hey, that was a lot of fun watching the AA and the A state tournament.
It'll be interesting to see how they're going to do the championships. Are they going to put the A and the AA championships back to back in the monument, or are they just going to keep it in the separate arena?
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how they do that. We must have a Garth Brooks concert that weekend where we're not. We can't host the AA
somebody
tournament.
told me it was just the Stampede hockey team. Okay, yeah, something like that.
I think it'll be great. It really will. There'll be a lot of folks in Rapid. It'll be. I don't know though if they're going to make the championships a back-to-back, or if they'll just keep the A and the monument and the AA over in the ice arena.
What do you think should happen there? If I'm in Class A and I'm playing in the ice arena, do I want to switch all of a sudden for the state championship? Probably not.
No, I wouldn't want that either. Because coaches don't like that either, because they're going to want practice time and playing time, and because I would like to see it back to back. I really would.
Yes,
I think,
yes.
But you know what?
From a fan perspective,
if you think about it, there isn't I've seen this before in combined tournaments where there are some that will stay for both, but there's a lot that don't.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that as well. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll stick around for the A or the double A, and they might not. They might not.
Yeah.
But Rapid City's going to test run it 2026, the double A and A boys state tournaments here in the Monument, Ice Arena and Summit Arena. Craig Maddock on tonight, SDPB Sports, on Twitter at Craig Maddock. Craig, have a great week. Thanks for coming on.
You bet, Nate. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Craig Maddock tonight on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Public Broadcasting in our East River meets West River segment to kick off the week. Interesting votes here in the question of the day. Youth MMA tournaments are increasing participation. What do you think? 53% say not good. 47% say it's solely the parents' decision. End of story. Listener text. It feels like MMA is a sport for men and women. Wrestling, boxing, other martial arts are needed for young athletes to develop the discipline and skills to compete in MMA as an adult. Now that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. I'm not an MMA expert, not a martial arts expert by any means, and so that's why I was like, yeah, I didn't know there was a lot of youth participation. And story just came out a couple of days ago saying they had their biggest event ever in this league in California last month. Some states sanction it, regulate it. Some states have banned it as of now for kids to participate in. And then some people make that argument. They say MMA is getting treated differently, and it shouldn't be. I mean, that's what people are saying as this debate kind of goes on. Why is MMA different than kickboxing or other things? I don't have that answer. I'm not an expert on that one. It's an interesting debate. Coming right back with Eric Olson. Covers the College World Series for the Associated Press. The NCAA cracks down on a little bit of College World Series celebration. What do we think? Eric Olson on the way.
The Nate Brown Show.
We all have hard days at work. This is what champion bullfighter Dusty Tuckness does for a living. Now this is a tough day at work. When Dusty comes home, he likes things quiet. Windows and patio doors from Renewal by Andersen not only make things quiet, they cut your energy bills and add to the value of your home. No matter what you do for a living, Renewal by Andersen windows and patio doors, because coming home should always feel this good.
An injury, or maybe you're experiencing pain that just won't get better, there's an expert team of physicians right here in Rapid City ready to help you get back in the game. The Rehab Doctors. They're the official sports medicine physicians of the Rapid City Rush, and they're the team that wants to help you get back on track. You have a choice for your medical care, and there's no referral necessary. For pain relief without surgery, take the first step to feeling better. Just go to therehabdoctors.com.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Hey Black Hills, Boss Pizza and Chicken is now bringing you the best new sports bar in Rapid City. Grab your crew and check out the new Boss Pizzeria and Sports Bar on North Lacrosse Street. Same great pizza, chicken, and food you love from Boss, and now a full-service bar with beer, wine, and liquor. Boss Pizzeria and Sports Bar is a newly remodeled sports bar with TVs all around and a sports ticker dedicated to local and regional sports. This is the place for sports fans in the Black Hills. The new Boss Pizzeria and Sports Bar in North Lacrosse and Rapid City. They're open early and open really late. Also with delivery at Boss Pizza and Chicken.com.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales. You know, people are restless with all that's going on in the world, and they're ready to get out and travel.
And we're here to help you take care of all your automotive needs before that big road trip. From oil changes, batteries, to charging your AC system, starting at just $149 for most vehicles.
Just a one-stop shop.
Absolutely. Plus, we carry over 30 brand name tires and have deals as good as anywhere. And flat out the best brake deal around at just $329 per axle with new pads, rotors, and a lifetime warranty.
Hey, I know you guys can handle just about anything. Plus, you're an ASE and AAA approved repair facility to boot.
Yes, sir. Our shop and mechanics have passed thorough testing in all of the disciplines of automotive repair to achieve these AAA and ASE certifications.
Check out Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, folks, for a happy and affordable motoring life. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytime.com. And, of course, at the corner of Highway 79 in East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. A busy Monday tonight. Remember, you can catch the podcast that'll go up tonight if you missed some of the guests live. Great lineup tonight. Good stuff. We don't record guests and play them back to take up segments, try and give you new content each time out. We know you can't listen to all 2 hours a lot of the time, so go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Download it tonight, tomorrow, at your own convenience. One of our number one listeners on the podcast, he told me, he said, hey, man, I just get that thing every morning. I'm walking the dog. That's good stuff right there. Good morning to you, by the way. All right, Eric Olson's in live tonight on the Nate Brown Show. College World Series coming up. Associated Press does great work there. Find him on Twitter at EricOlson64. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. Eric, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time again. We had you on before, and I said, hey, College World Series time. I've seen you've been covering that. And I said, let's talk about it. Before we get there, give me the overview, how popular the College World Series is in Omaha, how great of an event that is.
Oh, I mean, it's basically the big summer festival of the year, every year since 1950 in Omaha, and it's gotten bigger every year, really. And you probably have heard of Rosenblatt Stadium, which they tore down, which was the home for all those years when the event really got big, and they kind of outgrew Rosenblatt, and they moved downtown now to Charles Schwab Field, and it's about a 24,000 seat field, and the parking lots are full of tailgaters, and the more SEC teams that get into the College World Series, the better it is for the Omaha economy, because those people that come from the SEC country, they know how to party and they know how to spend money. So that's a good thing.
I tell you, I like the College World Series. I was watching some super regionals here, and I'm sitting here going, I'm a sports talk host. I do a show every day. Love some of the big sports. And I look at the College World Series, I say, maybe the most undercovered good event out there. Why can't it catch the majority of sports fans? I can't figure it out.
I don't know. I mean, college baseball starts in February, and people just don't really have their mind on it. And then, of course, they watch it, during the NCAA tournament. But it's just, you got the NBA playoffs going on right now. You've got the NHL playoffs. You usually have the U.S. Open, which, of course, it starts this week. Usually the U.S. Open is about this time of year. So, college baseball, it's just kind of on the cusp of, a little bit under the radar, but it's on the cusp of really, being a real major thing, but it's just not quite there. You got people that follow the major leagues as well. Some people used to say they didn't really like all the offense that they had in college baseball, that it was ridiculous. Well, they toned down the bats back in 2011 and the offense, kind of fell more into line with what you would expect baseball to be. But now this year, they're hitting home runs like crazy. I don't know if the ball is juiced right now or what, but they've really seen an uptick in home runs. I mean, Stanford hit 8 the other night and lost.
Wow. I want to get into this because I think it's a great event, and I think about in our world today, everyone's like, well, college sports is professionalized, and some people don't like the name, image, and likeness and the whole thing. And I go, here's an event right here. These guys are, it seems like they're playing for the love of the game. It is amateur sports. It feels that way, and it's just not quite as much big business as maybe college football or college basketball. Nonetheless, Eric Olson on College World Series, he's covering it for the AP. How about this, Eric? The NCAA, they cracked down as the Super Regionals got going with these prop celebrations. You've been watching this. Teams hit a home run. They come through. They have a prop, a sledgehammer, whatever. NCAA says, can't have it, no more. What do you say?
I think that's actually part of college baseball. I mean, I used to work for the World Herald, the newspaper in Omaha, and that was kind of my assignment during the College World Series, years and years ago, was to kind of try to find some of these little fun stories that, every team has their quirky little personalities. Like Southern Miss, they just got eliminated yesterday, but Southern Mississippi had a boat paddle that they used to stir the Gatorade in the clubhouse. Well, somebody brought it out to the dugout back in regionals, and they came from behind to win a game, and so the boat paddle stayed in the dugout. And when they won the regional, they came running out of the dugout to celebrate on the field for the dog pile, and of course the keeper of the boat paddle had that thing in his hand as he went out there. I don't like it. I think that you should let these guys have their fun. I don't think that it's hurting anybody.
NCAA says it's going to create a more volatile situation. So, rubbing it in the face
Well, it used to not. I mean, that's the thing, is that how come 10, 15 years ago it didn't cause that problem?
I got you.
This is all kinds of stuff that's been around college baseball. I mean, there used to be there's just fun stuff like that on every team. Like Louisville, they went to super regionals, but in the regionals when they won that, they had talked about how, with the NHL playoffs going on, we need to take the attitude that it's a Game 7 situation every time we go out here. And so they had a Lamar Jackson jersey sitting in their dugout, a hockey jersey with Lamar Jackson. That's just weird, Lamar Jackson. But they had that sitting in their dugout as a prop, and they would display that because they had the hockey mentality, and the Game 7 mentality. So, every year there seems to be stories like this where there's something that especially the writers love to cling to, that's kind of a personality thing for each team and maybe the darling of the tournament, that sort of thing. And I just think that it's part of the charm of college baseball to have that kind of stuff. And I tell you what, you talk about doing stuff that maybe is going to rub people's faces in it. I mean, look at Tennessee, and I don't know how much you followed the Volunteers, but they had a guy hit a home run the other day, and he rounds first base and starts flipping off the Georgia Tech outfielder, the regional.
Right.
So I mean, come on. Now that stuff you should get out of the game.
I got you.
The other stuff, I don't get it.
Good perspective, interesting perspective on it. The NCAA trying to crack down, they say, on that deal. By the way, speaking of Tennessee, they get knocked out, Eric. Notre Dame upsets them. If people that don't follow that, how big of an upset was that?
Yeah, that's huge. Tennessee is probably going to go down as the best college baseball team to not make it to the College World Series, and maybe you could say to not win a national championship because they've been so dominant. They hit 158 home runs this year, which goes back to the late 90s when they played guerrilla ball at LSU, back when the ball was flying out of parks everywhere. That's the fourth most all time. They have a pitching staff that has an ERA of under 3. The only team in the country with an ERA under 3. So I mean, they up and down the lineup. I mean, they had 10 guys I think hit at least 10 home runs, which in college baseball that's quite an accomplishment to have that many guys do that. Huge upset, and nobody saw that coming. And here you got Notre Dame, which is going to make its first trip back to Omaha since 2002, and I can promise you that they will be the local favorite, because every year Omaha adopts a team. It seems like the fans kind of find their favorite, and it's always the underdog. And this is definitely a great story, Notre Dame making it through that regional, especially since they thought that they might get a home field for regionals, and they didn't. So they've had to go onto the road and get through regionals and super regionals. So they're hot, and Omaha's a good Catholic town, so you're probably going to see the Irish be kind of the sentimental favorite here.
The Omaha College World Series coming up. Notre Dame knocking off the overall number 1 there, Tennessee, the 1 seed. Good stuff. Eric Olson, follow him on Twitter at Eric Olson64, Associated Press. Eric, thanks for the time. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. Have a good rest of the night.
All right, appreciate the time. Eric Olson tonight, Associated Press sports writer covering the College World Series in Omaha. Oh, man, I'll tell you. I like that event. That's a great event. I think it's, for the most part, pure sports, great brands. When the College World Series is on, I watch it. You know, it has to become like destination TV, because you don't know the players, you don't know the stories. There's just a few things missing with the build-up, the promotion, the availability of college baseball. It's just a few things missing, and then their great event, which is a great one, doesn't have the backstories and the intrigue. College World Series coming up. Omaha, if you haven't went to that, I've been told that's an unbelievable event. I've been told that's a great, great event. I have not been to that. That's another one you got to put on the list for a sporting event. Let's get into who's hot and who's not right now on a Monday as we go on our way. Who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, 2 locations in Rapid City. The Pizza Ranch, best buffet in town, you know that. Salad bar, fried chicken, dessert, cactus spread, soda included. The buffet your way. Buffet Wednesday, Kids Day. Remember, Kids Day on Wednesday. In our Who's Hot category, you got to hear this story. I was stunned to see this. There's a kid over in Minneapolis. Okay, he's in a suburb, Woodbury. This kid did not play. Listen to this. We talked about recruiting today on the show a lot, high school kids and how you get noticed. This kid, Jackson Carver, he's in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune today. He didn't play high school football until his senior year of high school, which was this past fall. Okay? Jackson Carver, no football, not middle school, not freshman, not JV. Played his senior year of high school. He was a lacrosse player. He goes out to play his senior year. He's 6'6", 230, and he now has 30 Division I offers. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable story. He's got offers from Iowa, Wisconsin, Miami, LSU, Minnesota. The list goes on. Jackson Carver, first time ever playing football in his life. His senior year of high school. It's not like he set the world on fire. He had, what did he have? 17 catches, they said. But he's went 17 catches for 292 yards. And they looked at him. They brought him to some camps. He has 30 Division I offers. Jackson Carver, Twin Cities suburb tight end. 6'6", 230, and 1 year of football, and he's going to go play college football. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, it's my Chicago Cubs. They left their pitcher in yesterday, I should say, in the game against the Yankees. We left our pitcher in. He gave up 6 homers. He gave up 6, and they still left him in. And then we had to play our first baseman because we didn't want to put in the rest of our pitchers to waste them because it was such a blowout, 17-4. And our first baseman pitched in the game. He pitched 35 miles per hour. Do I go to a Major League Baseball game to watch Nate Brown pitch 35 miles per hour? The Cubs, the lowly Cubs, in my Who's Not tonight. 35 miles an hour. By the way, the first baseman pitched that slow, and the guy still hit a homer. It's the slowest measured pitch that was hit for a homer in the pitch tracking era of Major League Baseball. 35 miles an hour, and he still jacked one. It's like church league softball, man. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. The podcast going up tonight. Download it where you get your podcasts, and we'll send you to The Odd Couple. Right now, we'll be back tomorrow at 4.